Cactv, igniting the apostolic fire. Cactv, igniting the apostolic fire.
Fellow Nigerians, it is exactly 3 decades today that Nigerians went to the polls to exercise their inalienable right to elect a president of their choice to lead the transition from military dictatorship to a representative government of the people. The abortion by the military fiat of the decisive victory of Chief MKO Abiola of the defunct Social Democratic Party in the June 12, 1993 presidential election. Up to that time, the fairest and the freest election in the country's political evolution turned out, ironically, to be the seed that germinated into the prolonged struggle that gave birth to the democracy we currently enjoyed since 1999. In rising to strongly oppose the arbitrary annulment of the will of the majority of Nigerians, as expressed in that historic election, the substantial number of our people who participated in the struggle to annul the election signified their fierce commitment to enthroning democracy as a form of government that best ennobles the liberty, the dignity of individual, and integrity, as well as the stability of the polity. The fierce opposition to the annulment of June 12, 1993 presidential election and unrelenting pro-democracy onslaught it unleashed was the equivalent of the battle against colonial rule by our founding fathers that resulted in the gaining of Nigerian independence in 1960. Just like the anti-colonial movement, the pro-democracy June 12 vanguard demonstrated once again the enduring validity a day that has remained a watershed in our nation's history, not just today, but for every June 12, for the endless future that our beloved country shall exist and work stronger and stronger. Generation of Nigerians will always remember themselves that the democracy that is steadily going to become the defining essence of our polity was not gifted to us on a silver platter. We can easily recall the sacrifice and the martyrdom of Chief MKO Abiola, the custodian of the sacred mandate that was so cruelly annulled. He sacrificed his life in unyielding patriotic defense of the ideals of democracy, as symbolized in his choice by his fellow countrymen and women as their duly elected president. There was an easier choice for him. It was to forgo the justice of his cause and opt for the path of ease and capitulation in the face of the tyranny of power. To his eternal credit and immortal glory, Abiola said no. He demonstrated the time-tested eternal truth that there are certain ideals and principles that are far more valuable than life itself. Every day on this day, down the ages, we will recall the several heroes of democracy, such as Kudirat Abiola, wife of Chief Abiola, who was brutally murdered while in the trenches fighting on the side of the people. We remember Pat Alfred Rewani, one of the heroes of our independence struggle, and Major General Shehu Musaya Adua, retired, who was silenced by the military junta while in pursuit of democracy. They gave their yesterday for the liberty that is ours today. The point is that we must never take this democracy for granted. We must forever jealously guard and protect it like a precious jewel. For a people can never truly appreciate the freedom and the right democracy guarantees them until they lose it. We have transferred the dark, thorny part of dictatorship before, and those who experience it can readily testify to the unbridgeable gap between the dignity of freedom and the humiliation and degradation of tyranny. True, yes, rancorous debates, interminable wrangling, ceaseless quarrels, bitter electoral contestations may be perceived by some as the unattractive feature of democracy, but they also testify to its merits and value. This year, we held the 7th in the cycle of elections that have become sacred ritual of our democratic practice in this dispensation since 1999. That the polls were intensely contested is in itself positive evidence that democracy is well and alive in our land. It is only natural that even as those who won and experienced victory in various elections are elated and fulfilled, those who lost are disenchanted and disappointed. But the beauty of democracy is that those who win today can lose tomorrow, and those who lose today will have an opportunity to compete and win in the next rounds of elections. Those who cannot endure and accept the pains of defeat in elections do not deserve the joy of victory when it is their turn to triumph. Above all, those who disagree with the outcome of the elections are taking full advantage of the constitutional provisions to seek redress in court. That is one of the reasons why democracy is the best form of government invented by man. For Chief MKO Abiola, the symbol of this day, in whose memory June 12 became a national holiday, democracy is eternal. It is about rule of law and vibrant judiciary that can be trusted to deliver justice and strengthen institutions. It has become imperative to state here that the unnecessary illegal orders issued to truncate or abridge democracy will no longer be tolerated. The recent harmonization of the retirement age of the judicial officers is meant to strengthen the rule of law, which is critical pillar of democracy. The reform has just started. The democracy that will yield right dividends to the people who are shareholders means more than just freedom of choice and right to get people into elective offices. It means social and economic justice for our people. To the winner of June 12 democracy offers the best chance to fight and eliminate poverty. 30 years ago, he christened his campaign manifesto "Farewell to Poverty" because he was convinced that there is nothing defined about poverty. It is a man-made problem that can be eliminated with clearly thought out social and economic policies. It is for this reason that in my inauguration address on May 29, I gave effect to the decision taken by my predecessor in office to remove the fuel subsidy, the albatross, and free up the collective use of much needed resources, which had hitherto been pocketed by a few rich. I admit the decision will impose extra burden on the masses of our people. I feel your pain. This is one decision we must bear to save our country from going under and take our resources away from the stranglehold of a few unpatriotic elements. Painfully, I have asked you, my compatriots, to sacrifice a little more for the survival of our country. For your trust and belief in us, I assure you that your sacrifice shall not be in vain. The government I lead will repay you through massive investment in transportation, infrastructure, education, regular power supply, healthcare, and other public utilities that will improve the quality of lives. The democracy MK Abiola died for is one that promotes the welfare of the people over personal interests of the ruling class, and one where the governed can find personal fulfillment and happiness. That is the hope MK Abiola ignited throughout our country in 1993. On this year's Democracy Day, I enjoy all of us, to rededicate ourselves to strengthening this form of government of free people that has been our guiding light these past 24 years. In particular, those of us who have been privileged to elect into public office at various levels in both the executive and legislative arms of government must recommit ourselves to offering selfless service to the people and delivering concrete democracy dividend in accordance with our electoral promises. On my part and that of my administration, I pledge anew our commitment to diligently fulfilling every component of our electoral pact with the people, the Renew Hope agenda. We shall be faithful to truth, faithful to equity, and faithful to justice. We shall exercise our authority and mandate to govern with fairness, respect for the rule of law, and commitment to always upholding the dignity of all our people. On this note, I wish us a happy Democracy Day celebration and pray that the light of liberty shall never be extinguished in our land. Thank you all, and may God continue to bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Ìlà oṣù kẹfà lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà jẹ́ ọjọ́ tí a ó máa rántí ní gbogbo ìgbà. A sì yà sọ́tọ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọjọ́ ìsinmi fún gbogbo ọmọ orílẹ̀‐èdè yìí. June 12 every year is a special day in Nigeria. Democracy Day bí àwọn èèyàn wa bí wọ́n ṣe ń pè é. MKO Abiola on this day will be remembered for a special role he played in 1993. It was a decisive election that all Nigerians believe he has won. Let me use it that way. But all of a sudden, things changed gradually. And for so many years, it was terrible in this country. But to God be the glory, here we are today. Democracy Day, Democracy Day, Democracy Day. Take it or you leave it. So many souls were sacrificed for this day. I have with me in the house is a regular man in the house. Ẹni tí gbogbo wa mọ̀ dáadáa ni wọ́n. Wọ́n jẹ́ ọ̀kan lára àwọn àlejò wa tí wọ́n máa ń farahàn dáadáa lórí ètò yìí. CAC television ibẹ̀ náà la kalẹ̀ sí Adékúnlé Adékẹ́yè lórúkọ tèmi. Àlejò wa lénìí, we are going to do so many things together. Bàbá ṣe mú lédè òyìnbó la máa mú lédè Yorùbá kí àwọn tó ń gbọ́ wa nínú ilé kí wọ́n lè gbádùn wa dáadáa torí àkànṣe ètò, it's a special program for Democracy Day on Cactv. My guest this morning is no other person but Dr. JB Minari. Ẹ kú ojúmọ́ sir.
Shigoni, sir. Thank you very much for having me.
June 12, where do I start? How do we start? Báwo ni ká ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀? Bó ni ká ti bẹ̀rẹ̀? When we talk of June 12, let me first of all ask, where were you on that day?
Oh, great. It's a lovely question to ask. Well, fortunately for me, I was actually in secondary school during that period when during the period of the election of Chief Kashimawo Abiola then under the defunct Social Democratic Party. Yes. And so, like you rightly said, the election, which they used option A for, although I was not good enough to vote, but we were very much informed of what actually happened, was adjourned as the freest and fairest election so far we've ever had in Nigeria. So in that particular day, I could remember they were announcing the result of the election, and all of a sudden there was a halt. And then I think that was the beginning of the crisis. Of that particular June 12th, before everything now escalated. And that was where the journey now, the struggle eventually now continued from there until we were able to get to 1999.
I've asked this question several times, and I will have to ask you on a day like this. June 12, does it worth celebrating?
Yes, I will say it's worth celebrating because looking back, before then, we were under the military rule. And you know how the military rule used to be, a lot of issues then. And the military have been promising that they want to return government back to democratically elected government. I remember vividly then also that even before the period of SDP, MK Abiola and Tofa NRC, there was other elections.
Yes,
Primary elections that was actually stopped, annulled, before eventually Abiola came on board, and that was widely accepted. And we all believed then that, oh, this is the time for us to return to a democratic government. Ìjọba olóṣèlú àṣìfẹ́ lọ síbẹ̀ nsìn, and it was a two-party system that was widely accepted across the country. So people believe that, oh, this is the time that we are going to democracy. People participated a lot from the length and breadth of Nigeria, and all of a sudden there was a truncation along the line that it didn't go, and we know how the story eventually went. But you will see that it's worth celebrating because it was actually the death of MK Abiola, because it was that struggle that was still on. He was arrested by the junta that came on board, and because of that, the pressure was so much, even from everywhere, for international community, that after the death also of the military ruler, then they saw it as an opportunity to just make sure that the government goes back to the military, to the civilians. So I think for me it's worth celebrating, and that's why people came together, like you said in your intro. It was actually a long work before June 12 was actually recognized, but eventually it was recognized. But for me, it's worth it because a lot of life also died along the line. Of course, we remember Kudirat that was shot somewhere in Lagos here, and so many other people. Aferiwan, that was also killed along the line of the struggle. Musa Yaradua also, that was killed along the struggle. So many of the NADECO members I can remember vividly went on exile. Some of them sneak out of the country, and they were making comments from outside the country. So I think for me, that we've been able to even run democracy for sometimes uninterrupted now. I think that June 12th is worth celebrating.
Yes. Someone said during the week, I think that was last week before June 12th, it said, Fuigba Koko, we are having a June 12th person as the president. That since 1999, those who doesn't know about democracy, they have been ruling. Yes. Do you subscribe to that?
Yes, I do. Because in fairness to the current president, then to J. Arewabai, Amokbo, Alara, Monadeko, Ngba, even though one were young and in fact, more contest going by.
Yes,
he won the Senate. Yes, in that, there was brief election then. Already even have civilian government then. So it was just left with the then military president then that was left just for the presidential election to take place. So into first on me, Ali Sope, ara wọn tó jàjà democracy at least ó wà nípò ààrẹ for the first time. Because tábà wo ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀ 1999. Bàbá Ọbásanjọ́ gan ó dà ń gbé inú ẹ̀wọ̀n náà wà kó pẹ́ tán jáde náà lọ pé wọ́n pé bàbá o ẹ wá jẹ ààrẹ o bàtán jẹ ìyẹn náà tán bàbá Yar'Adua náà kọ́lọ̀ ń fọ̀rùn kẹ àwọn náà fi bẹ́ẹ̀ múra sí bí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe tẹ́lẹ̀ tán lọ pé wọ́n bàtí tán dẹ̀ tó kọjá lọ ẹni tó tẹ̀lé wọn Jonathan ìṣepò náà fi bẹ́ẹ̀ múra sí gbogbo wọn lẹ́yìn wọn fi bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣara wọn June 12 tó jẹ tó tún tẹ̀lé ológun lò náà tó ṣe bọ́ṣọ lẹ̀. So this is the first time ìgbà àkọ́kọ́ ta lè sọ pé a ní àwọn tó really jà fún ẹ̀tọ́
ìjọba àwarawa
ìjọba àwarawa tó wá gorí oyè báyìí. So I think I agree with that.
Ibikíbi tí ẹ bá ti ń wò wá àkànṣe ètò tí a gbé kalẹ̀ fún àyájọ́ ọjọ́ ìjọba àwarawa. It's a special program for Democracy Day, and our guest in the house is Dr. J.B. Minari. He has been a regular guest in Cactv, so if you are watching us for the first time, it's not new. It's not new at all. And this morning, we have a lot to discuss because we are still going to review the papers together. We're going to review the paper together. However, I will ask this question before we go for a break. Democracy and military system of government. Some Nigerians are still clamoring, even after Baba Basanjo second time that we want military, we want military. These people are not performing. Which one do you prefer?
Oh, okay. Personally, I would prefer democracy. Well, I'm not too old, but at least I've been able to experience at least some military government in Nigeria. Very much around very, very young, during the tail end of Shagari to Buhari to IBB and then to Abacha. So, and then, okay, even the interim government during Shoneko, and now we have democracy. I think I can compare. Yes, you can say that military has some of its own advantages, but I think the advantages of democracy far outweighs that of the military government. And I'll give you some examples. Yes, in military, maybe if they have a willpower to do something, they will just go ahead to do it without
no consultation.
So if you are fortunate enough that that decision is good, congratulations.
If it favors you.
But it favors you, congratulations. But if it doesn't favor you,
you're on your own.
You're on your own. Because, and that's why they said absolute power corrupts absolutely. So under military is absolute power. You can't ask questions. Now under democracy, yes, they might do some things that we don't like, but you can protest. You can go to court. You can sue them. You know, we have an arm of government that was even missing under the military, and that's the legislative arm of government. It was missing completely. There was no oversight. Yes, you might say, oh, probably this one is a little bit more expensive but we have representative that we can call to order, that we can vote in for after every 4 years. If we know our right, we can recall some of them. You know, we can show our displeasure. It's not like that. I remember during the protest of even this June 12, I thought that they came to come and pick us. You know, it was so intense that military men were outside. We must also even remember some fallen heroes that is not a known name. I remember people were shot on the street during that protest. People were shot after the annulment. So many people died. You see armor tank, you see military men going everywhere. So for me, I think we just need to perfect our democracy. Actually, there's no perfect democracy even in America. In America, that is even like the father of democracy. But we need to improve. And I think since we are having uninterrupted democracy since 1999, we are getting better gradually. For me, is better off. You remember there was a time when the military head of state was there. The economy was so bad that we were using sawdust to prepare sawdust that used to throw away. You know, and you can't talk. If you talk, they can arrest you. You know, they can terminate one's life. Nobody can charge. It's like we are living under fear. Then, so I think now for me, it's still better off. Democracy is still better. What we just need to do is to fine-tune our democracy and bring the best out of our own democracy in Nigeria.
I think I will agree with you, sir. I want to agree with you. So let's not just fine-tune it. At least we started 1999. This is 2023. We'll get there one day. One thing I'd like said while we were giving us that expression was that under military, you dare not. You don't go. You can't face them. Hey, what you are doing is wrong. I remember the CRI4. They told all journalists, if you say "pam," you are in trouble. If you write anything, you are in trouble. So, democracy is still better. I want us to have this break. However, let me ask this question because I just remember now. This is Democracy Day. As we speak right now, we have one president, no other president but Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We are celebrating Democracy Day. Some people are still in court fighting this so-called democracy. Tá a bá dìbò tán, dandan ni kẹ́nìkan ó borí, dandan ni kẹ́nìkan ó pàdánù. Àwọn tó yarí nìsín pé ìjọba yìí ṣe àti ìtẹ́wọ́gbà, ipò wo la fẹ́ fi wọ́n sí níbi tá a wà yìí.
Well, in fact, good. In fact, that's the beauty of democracy. Because that's why we are in court. So, Thomas said, okay, that's the end. Thomas said, that's the end. So that's the beauty of democracy. So for me, Like the president's speech this morning, he also acknowledged that's why they've gone to court to seek for redress. That's part of democracy. Because if it were military, he will just arrest you and charge you for cheating. Yes.
All of them will have been in prison.
Just charge you. In fact, the judge said might be in trouble. So those are some of the, for me, some of the advantages of democracy. For me, yes.
It's the beauty of democracy. On no, I won. No, you did not win. Hey, let's go. Not only at the federal level, we have cases. So many senators are in court right now, House of Reps, virtually everybody. But let's wait and see. Like Dr. Minari have said, it is the beauty of democracy. After this time out, the program continues.
Cactv, igniting the apostolic fire. Cactv, igniting the apostolic fire.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is CAC Television. This is a special package, a special program for this special day, Democracy Day 2023, June 12th. Every year, like I said, is the beauty of it. It is the beauty of democracy. Whatever happened this day is the beauty of this day. Our guest this morning is Dr. J.B. Minari. June 12th, May 29th. Initially, I remember President Olusegun Obasanjo, then the former head, did not even recognize the June 12th. When you mentioned June 12th, he said it is May 29. May 29, we know it's, should we call it handover date or whichever one? Democracy Day now is June 12th. Doctor, which one do you think is the best? 29, 12?
Well, they are both very important, but I think June 12th is more important because we believe that it is the sacrifice of that June 12th that gave birth to May 29. Yes. Assuming June 12th was recognized early enough, probably constitutionally, June 12th will have been made the handover day. But you know that would be a breach of the constitution because the president cannot use a single second after the period in office. So for me, it is that sacrifice that actually gave birth to May 29. So I think we should celebrate June 12th more than May 29 because if there is no June 12th, probably there won't be May 29th.
If there's no June 12th, probably there won't be May 29. In one of the papers, I think yesterday or today, I read in one of the papers, someone said, let us bring back all the heroes of June 12th. Those who are alive, those who lost their life. What do you see to that?
I think it's a very good thing to do. Well, we have quite a number of them that are still alive. Professor Wole Soyinka is there. We've lost people like Gani Fayemi. You know, quite a number of them. They went in and out of the prison. You know, some of them, like I said earlier, some of them needed to run out of the country. So I think it will be a very good thing to celebrate quite a number of them, to bring them together, those that are still alive, and those that have gone, posthumous award could be given. And the importance of that is also to encourage younger generations as well, to know that, oh, you can stand for a cause, and because it's more deadly then to stand for that cause under military than under civilian. So you can stand for a cause and you can still get it. And that's number one. Number two, it also helps to retain the memory. Because I was listening to somebody today was saying that if you ask an average young person, maybe at the age of 24 or thereabout downward, some of these things they might not know. They might not.
They don't even know.
So when you say June 12th to them, you say, "Hey, well, what does it really mean? Why are you having Democracy Day?" They will not really understand the import of what you are. So if you bring them together, it will bring an opportunity to get that narrative, so that we'll be able to pass that narrative again to the younger generation. They will actually know what actually happened. Because I even noticed that most of the time in history, for example, if you talk about the Civil War, it's as if people have different versions.
Exactly.
We don't exactly. This is the version. We don't even know. We're not
Which is
born
which?
then, we don't even know what happened then. But this one, that at least we knew what happened, and some of the major actors are still alive. So you can get the true. In fact, the person that annulled the election is still alive. So we can get the true narration of what actually happened firsthand, and then that will be passed to the next generation. So we'll be able to safeguard the integrity and the sanctity of that history, so that we can pass it on to the next generation. So I think I follow the school of thought that believe that those people that fought for them and those that have gone, that we should bring them together and then probably celebrate them and ensure that we're able to talk about those things. Taba sọ̀rọ̀ ńpa ẹ̀, àwọn tí tó hàn bí ń gbà yẹn wọ́n lè ní idea pé nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ńgbà yẹn nìyí o, nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ńgbà yẹn nìyí o. Sì sọ pé àwọn tó lọ́wọ́ ní gbogbo ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ńgbà yẹn, ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wọn náà ṣì wà láyé dé ni, so wọ́n á lè ṣàlàyé fún wa ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀ gangan.
Yorùbá ní bọ́mọ̀ bàbá tàn abàrọ̀bá, àwọn tó ní ìtàn, from what doctor have said, they are still alive. Kí ó má bàa di pé àròbá, like the Civil War, in fact it was terrible. I really love the example you gave. Mo mọ̀ pé àwọn kan gbà yẹn wá ní ìgbógun abẹ́dé lágbájá tó bá fẹ́ pa dológbò wọn kiri mú, and some people will tell you wọ́n mú kíní ọ̀rẹ́ náà ti mú tán ti padà. So àwọn tó wà láyé ńgbà yẹn tó bá pé wọ́n sọ fún wa bó ṣe rí ní máa secondary information bó bá ṣe gbélé náà ni. But for June 12, at least we still have about 50-60% tí wọ́n take part that are alive, that can tell us into ṣẹlẹ̀ rí. To those of us who witnessed it, thank God, I think that was the first election tí mo dìbò. Ìbò àkọ́kọ́ tí mo pé wọ́n lọ dìbò, mo ṣe rántí lára pé mo dìbò yẹn. But what we are saying is this: I want to sacrifice life wọn and those that are alive. Let us use this time to remember them. Ká lo àsìkò yìí láti rántí wọn. Kò sí nǹkan tó burú bẹ́ẹ̀ tí a bá rántí wọn. Someone said June 12 is Yoruba fight. But Yoruba ló ní June 12. It's not for the whole country. Is that true?
That's not true. Because if you look at the dynamics of the election, Abiola's election covered almost the whole country. But that was the beauty. You know, then people to a large extent put sentiment apart.
Tribalism apart.
In fact, the winning was widespread. So it wasn't a sectional.
Yes, and it won virtually in all the regions.
Yes. So, and yes, they didn't conclude the announcement of the election, but so far that has been announced, which also represent a bulk result that have been turning. His coverage went around the country. So the fight for June 12 is not a sectional fight. It's not meant for the Yorubas alone. It was because I even remember the protest was also nationwide.
Yes.
Because I remember then we were somewhere in Bende State. Then they protested in Bende State. They protested in some other parts of the country also when the election was annulled. So to put it in context, it is not a sectional. People like Parwani is not a Yoruba man. Yes. Musa Yaradua and some other people that we cannot remember their names. Now we have people from other parts of the country that also got involved in the struggle for June 12. So it's something that goes beyond just the Yorubas or the Southwest for June 12.
Yes, one more question I will ask before we have a break, because I want us to review this paper together today. A lady said on Friday that the women who took part in June 12 struggle were not all that compensated. Is that true?
Well, I want to believe that too. But I think the only thing I know, Kudirat's name came up prominently. But I think there are other women also that needs to be recognized. I think we need to play up that sentiment very well. We need to search up because quite a number of them also were at the front line of this struggle. So I think we need to do more to also bring out quite a number of them that stood their ground and in spite of the danger, they knew, because like I told you, it's military.
Exactly.
I wanted to confront military. You know that you are just in for it, so you know that anything can happen, even including, like you said, press freedom. You can be in your studio and hear a knock, and the military, they probably have been monitoring.
There's no press freedom.
There's no press freedom. So everybody was caged. Some press media houses were shot. They were shot during that period. So I think there are women also that also fought for this, that needs to be recognized. We need to also do more in that regard.
So please, wherever you are watching, we are going to open a line on this program when it is time. We want you to be part of this program. Your contribution is also vital. So it's a special program, package for Democracy Day. This is CAC Television. After this time out, when we come back, we are going to review the paper. And my guest this morning, Dr. Minari, is in the house. So we are going to review the paper together. Please don't go away.
Cactv, igniting the apostolic fire. 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 Cactv.
Come back. Today is Democracy Day, and I have a special guest in the house. So we're going to review today's paper together. Two papers we have in the house, or even let me say three. Ṣùgbọ́n àwọn tó jẹ́ olólùfẹ́ Yorùbá, ìwé ìròyìn gbélégbọ́ náà ó wà níbí, a ní mẹ́nubà rárá. Ṣùgbọ́n a ó ṣe àtúpalẹ̀ láti inú ìwé ìròyìn The Punch, Nigerian Tribune, àti ìwé ìròyìn aré ìdárayá Sporting Life, mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta tí a ó ṣe àgbéyẹ̀wò nínú rẹ̀ rí. Democracy Day, Tinubu hails MKO Abiola promise to ease subsidy removal pains. How do you think the president will do that?
Well, I think how he wants to approach that, from what he has said, they are actually working on palliatives, and that palliatives, they also considering salary increment for workers. And from his speech also, he said they are going to look at transportation as well. They are going to invest the money they are going to recoup from subsidy. They are going to invest it in transportation, in education, in health, and also on the welfare of the people, because he believes that, according to what he said, that he noticed that most of the beneficiaries of the subsidy are not even the masses. It's just a selected few that are getting the money, and now they want to get that money. Yes, that it might cause some discomfort for us, but they are bringing palliative shortly, and they are going to channel that through various increments and other palliative measures that they've made.
Oof, this cannot be ignored. Presidency back, Christian Senate president.
Yes, I think that is the way to go, because democracy also includes, also involves inclusion. Not just that, okay, yes, competence, but competence Also inclusion. You understand? Even in America, you can see that in their last election, they brought in a black, they brought in a woman. It's to also get included. That doesn't mean that there is no other man that can be a vice to Joe Biden. So it's to bring in inclusion. To also, okay, the women to have inclusion. So I don't think there's anything wrong if the number one man is a Muslim, number two man is a Muslim, and the number three man is a Christian. You just give that sense of inclusion. I think it is the way to go for me.
Page 4 and 5. There's this topic, this headline. Let me pick this or two from this page set aside for city, crime, and court. Traders count losses as flood overruns Osun market. Why do we always have flood problem in Nigeria?
I think I will place more of the blame on the doorstep of the government. We already know that rains will come. So what we should do is to get ourselves prepared. I don't want to, yes, we say people throw things inside the dead, but you see, it's the government that needs to control, to bring a model that will make the people to know the right thing to do in terms of their drainages, to make sure that they are clean. If you have to sanction them, you sanction them. I remember growing up, there is this sanitary officer, wole, they call it them. You know, maybe that's one major little advantage we can say we got from the military. You know, during their own time, they are very strict on.
They were enforcing.
Yeah, they were enforcing to the latter of. Is it last Saturday or first Saturday? I can't remember now.
The first Saturday.
First Saturday.
Is it last Saturday of every month?
Yes. Nobody, you dare not go out. They will pick you. From if you are riding bicycle, they will pick you on your bicycle and throw you inside the Black Maria. I remember, when you see them coming, some people rush out, and even if you are not doing anything before, you start clearing.
At least you have to. You pretend.
You pretend as if you are doing. Some of them they will come and inspect. So we need to put some level of enforcement in our market. You know, ensure that those drainages are fine, and those places that doesn't have drainage, the government should help to put drainages there. There will be rain. You don't need the agency controlling that to tell you that this year there will be. Let's know that there will be rain in this area that we find ourselves. So let's the government please let's ensure, because sometimes it leads to loss of life, which cannot come back. Even if it's property can still be recovered of loss of life. So please, and I think they need to look into that direction, and then to ensure that we avoid some of these things reoccurring.
Okay, before we leave this page, Odana Kanrio, well done now for helping fleeing suspect remove handcuffs. Johnny, Oba Odana, Oba gay, can you work with gay cool? Owawaba, only pardon. Talobe gay, can you weather? Oh, did not arrest the weather. You sure Dana?
He's also accomplice. Yes, he needs to be punished for that. So I think he should have his day in court, and then the judge will matter. No matter how small, the judgment should be passed on him. You know that he's a criminal. Why did you do that when you are not authorized to do that by the law?
Benue to recover vehicles orders from autumn alleys. I want to buy governor to share. To buy share to log governor to Kuluri. They said they want to recover how. Do you?
Well, this thing has been reoccurring. Even recently, when in Zamfara, they had our police needed to go and recover about 40 vehicles. So I don't really know. Let's have a strict law concerning this. When you are
leaving office, good.
Yes. What should be the modus operandi? What should be the things that you should do? Should you leave the car or should you be going with the car? I think we should. I think maybe because we are not clear on it. Because I got to know that in some places, some people go with the cars.
Yes.
And then maybe the incoming will keep quiet. Probably if you are together or if you're in good books or you are from the same party, you will not hear anything. But in cases whereby
the opposition
or the other person comes, that's where most of the time that you hear some of this. But I think we should come out clean in these things. In developed places, you dare not do things just like that. You can't just take all the cars away personally. If the income, even if you want to, let the incoming come in and see what is on ground. And if he feels that, I want
go
to
with this, go
with this car, because now we are complaining now about our economy. We want to rebuild our economy, and then all the fine cars, some of them maybe, and some of those cars, some of them they just bought them.
Yes,
very close to the time they are leaving. So millions of naira, and then the state now will start getting money again when we say we don't have money, when people are suffering, and there are a lot of severance packages they've also packaged for themselves, even as outgone governors and deputy governors and the rest. I think maybe there might be a need for a constitution amendment to make it straight jacket, to say, okay, when you are going, this is so and so, maybe the governor and the deputy governor, this is what you are entitled to. Every other person, you leave everything there. So when the new person comes, let him come and decide whether, because you might decide that you want to use those cars. Some of them, there's nothing wrong with them. Most especially when the monies are not even there for us to spend.
Thank you. I think I subscribe to that. DSS is a Emefiele's passport. Plans home office search.
This Emefiele issues is Friday or thereabout has been, in and out. First, foremost, we had that it was suspended. Not quite long, we had that it was with the DSS. DSS came out to say it's not with them. Later in the day, they say, oh, the virus is with them, and so on and so forth. Well, what my own opinion is that if he has done anything, let the due process be followed. Like one of the senior lawyers said, the DSS should also follow due process. Those cases that cannot be handled by the DSS, that need to be handled by the EFCC should be allowed to handle. Let everything be done according to the rule of law. Let him have his day in court, and let the court determine his fate.
Kwara offers students free bus ride.
Well, that is encouraging, but I don't know how long that can last. That looks like a short-term palliative. It's good, but personally, I would prefer that the government should look at long-term palliative. Like we have maybe outside the country, there's provision for mass movement, mass transit within the town. Might not be completely free, but might be cheap. And they should do in such a way that it will be sustainable. It will be sustainable. So
it shouldn't be a short term.
It shouldn't be a short term, because if you give them free transport, maybe now, after 1 month or thereabout, you see these buses will be withdrawn, and before you know, people will go back to square one. So let them plan a well-organized and robust palliative that will be long-term, that will make people to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal. So I think they need to do better than this.
Okay, sports. We'll go to that later. Let's go to Nigerian Tribune to see the headline. Your sacrifice shall not be in vain. Tinubu tells Nigeria in first broadcast. I think it's a good it's a promise. So we are all looking forward to it. It's still very fresh in the office. We are barely 2 weeks. Everybody is still calm, and we are trying to look forward to the packages that is going to bring out for us. Well, we hope that God will help him, but we are looking forward to seeing those promises being fulfilled. Yes, I think we've talked about this from Nigeria, from the point. Kwara governor provides bus palliative for students. Good, it's a good one. There's this topic I want you to stick on, this headline. Yes, from Nigerian Tribune. A lot of greetings, as usual. Tamaki Arewa, Akwodun. I don't know if Dr. Minari will remember this. When Olusegun Obasanjo said, nobody should newspaper Makini. I think I do. Because of the amount of money that always being spent, I think that's why I said so. Okay. I think our time is going. However, I'll ask you 1 or 2 questions. Let's go to sports. Manchester City win Champions League. Oh yes. I felt for Pep Guardiola more than even Manchester City. Pep Guardiola, I've been following him since when he was in Barcelona, won Champions League with them, and I think that was the major reason why they brought him to Manchester City. Exactly. He had won the league several times. He is the 7th
Igniting the apostolic fire. Cactv, 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 igniting the apostolic fire.
Ẹ káàbọ̀ padà má bínú ní gbogbo ìgbà tí a bá ti wà lórí amóhùnmáwòrán dandan ni kí a mọ̀ pé àwọn nǹkan kan wà tó bá ṣẹlẹ̀ tó máa ń kọjá ipá àti agbára wa. If you are watching us right from the beginning, I want you to be part of this program. Your contribution is very, very vital now. Tẹ́ ẹ bá wò wá látìgbà tá a ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ohunkóhun tẹ́ ẹ bá ní nípa tá à ń ṣe lónìí ẹ̀yin náà ẹ lè darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Ẹ pè sórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí kájọ fikùn lukùn kájọ gbé yẹ̀wò 08022673253 08022673253 Democracy Day. Paper review náà la ṣe ń ṣe àgbéyẹ̀wò nínú ìwé ìròyìn abala eré ìdárayá la wà báyìí èmi àti dókítà Minari ká ṣe àgbéyẹ̀wò bíi méjì bíi mẹ́ta kó tó di pé a ó máa yọ̀ǹda wọn. Alan said something. I want to do it again. Alan vows Man City will defend treble success. Is that possible?
It's football, and you can't say no. Well, let's see how next season is going to go. Sometimes football you can't predict. They can just launch it to the next season now. They might not be performing well, and it's possible for them to also try to. But in fairness to them, they've been like consistent. Even though they didn't win even the Champions League, they've been like maybe getting to semi-final, getting to the final, and eventually getting to the final and winning it. So it's still relatively, they are having a very strong squad. But it's when a new season starts, you can now begin to last season, it
might not work.
But it's good to have a very good dream as well for them, maybe probably to also inspire them to do more. I think he's just having his first season in
Man City.
Man City. So probably he's looking forward to more and more successes in Man City. Well, we wish them all the best. But you should also realize that other teams who are not sleeping, they are also trying to reorganize and make sure that they come up strongly next season.
Summer transfer, Chelsea looking forward to Osimhen. Do you advise he goes to Chelsea?
Well, so many people have been saying maybe he should not go, but you know Chelsea also is getting a new coach.
Yes.
So that can also probably enhance it. But one thing I really don't appreciate about this Osimhen transfer, we have too many. Later we hear that Man U is looking for him, Chelsea is
Newcastle
looking for him, Newcastle is looking for him, Real Madrid. Please let one team just stay on Osimhen and get Osimhen and let Osimhen to. I learned that even Napoli has dropped the.
Yes.
The fee for him. So let him just decide anywhere he wants to go. People have different opinion. Some people said he should not go to Chelsea. Some people said he should not go to PSG. Some people said he should not go to Man U. But for me, well, anywhere he thinks
it's better.
It's good for him. He can go ahead. And because in fairness to him also, he's also been consistent. When he was, I think, in Lille in the French league, he did very well. And then when he was coming to Napoli, people thought, oh, he won't be able to.
I remember this Ivorian player, Drogba, said it clearly that Osimhen, please don't go to PSG. He really warned him, and he gave reasons. Well, like you said, the ball is in his court. Enyimba wins 9th NPFL title. Enyimba.
Next is like what?
Fini the joy. Modric considering leaving Madrid for Saudi Arabia.
Yes, that means he's getting ready for retirement. That is,
so they retire.
Yes, that has been the trend.
So if you are going to Saudi Arabia, yes, you are going there to retire.
Yes, but I also think, my personal opinion, that even Saudi too, they are gradually trying to also build their league.
Exactly.
Prominent people.
Yes.
I also heard that Pogba is planning to go there. Whether true or false, I don't know. So if they can bring in people like that, Ronaldo is there. In fact, they wanted Messi at the point to also come there before he eventually went to Inter Miami in the US. So it's a good thing, but normally people just feel that when those stars are going towards that direction, that it is time for them to retire. But as well, the Saudis know what they are doing. If care is not taken, gradually
they'll take over football.
Yes, they'll take over.
You are right.
Viewership will increase.
You are right.
People will start looking. They know the names that we don't know before. Now people are already following those names in that league.
You are right.
They are getting used and they are getting fans now.
Yes, they are getting fans. In fact, great followers, because they've moved. I think they've moved from 65 to 60 now.
Wow.
In terms of viewership in the world, they were 65 before. Now they are 60. Like you said, the next 4 or 5 years, if it is going like this, see them among the top football nations where people go to play football. One more question before we round off, sir. 2023 Ballon d'Or, Messi, favorite to win 8th award.
Well, I don't know. Maybe just because he won the World Cup. Maybe that's why you want to give it to him, basically. But I think we also have some other players that have also done very well.